So let's say I have a credit card, right? What if like I just leave it unused? That's gonna affect my credit in a bad way though, right?
Especially in our communities, there's no guidance. So you get a credit card. I know that's what happened to me. I got a credit card, we balled out.
I was trying to DoorDash Chipotle the other day, and it was like, okay, $12 for the bowl, but the
$30.
no, yeah, like actually like $15 for delivery.
Swipe not, cry later. I'm like, wow, like insane. What is 401? What is 401k? Like, okay, like
Where's the K?
where's the K? Like 401k, get out of here.
So your first question was what my recommendations for young people. I think that it's twofold.
Hey y'all, it's Rome. We got me filling in for Phil today at the Stack Project podcast, where we talk everything finance, lifestyle, youth. Yeah, everything youth. Word. I got my girl Christina to the left, and today we're gonna be talking about credit. And we have Phil and Ariana with us, the OGs, of course. Yeah. So let's get started.
So I know nothing about credit, so you guys got to talk.
I know nothing.
That's insane, though. That's right. I feel like, if anything, I know a little something about credit because I survived credit. I was like, when I tell you, I was like, how is my interest increasing? And then it went over the credit limit. I was like, how? I was like, what? And I was like, oh, because the amount I owe, they can charge that much interest on the whole amount. And I'm like, damn, that's insane. Like, yeah. And then what I didn't realize is that you can pay more than the monthly minimum. Like, you don't have to because I just kept paying off the monthly minimum. I'm like, why is my credit still like, it was like 400 and I was like, okay, I made like $50 and it's like, okay, it's still 400. I'm like, wait, like I just wait, like I gave my minimum. Why is it was just 350? Like, so yeah. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, for like credit cards, they don't really teach you a lot in regards to like what to do with it or like even how to use it. And people like, people say debt is bad, but like the thing is you have to like learn how to use debt to your like, you can borrow money to make it work for you.
Very true.
And I feel like we're just not taught that because, like, money speaks money. So if you don't have anybody around you that speaks money, you're not going to be taught that unless you actually go and learn it. So, yeah, I actually really appreciate what you're doing here because I feel like the youth need a good place where they can learn about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some of the things that really happens is there's really no guidance. And especially in our communities, there's no guidance. So you get a credit card. I know that's what happened to me. I got a credit card, we balled out. We fought.
You're right. I maxed it out. Like,
Balled out. You got paid his back.
I'm like, oh.
So
Right, swipe not, cry later.
that's
Swipe not, cry later. I'm like, wow, like insane.
So they don't really teach it, and then it's by design. Now, I'm a little older than you guys, so back in 08, 09, when Obama was in office, they actually put in a rule which was believed to be part of Dodd-Frank. And so before, when you had a credit card statement, you literally was just in the wilderness. You didn't know that you have interest that would grow. So now, if you pull a credit card bill, there's going to be language somewhere on the statement that says, if you pay the minimum, you'll pay this off in 3 years. If you don't pay the minimum and you wait for 6 years or 10 years, this is how much interest you'll pay. So it'll be like 3 years, like, yo, it's $8,000 worth of interest, some crazy number. But here's the problem. Most people don't read their credit card statements. Like, how many times?
Because it's a whole bunch. It's literally like 14 pages.
Right. It looks like.
Right.
For me, I can read it in like 2 seconds because I've been doing it. By the way, for those who don't know me, I'm a accredited certified financial counselor and advisor, and my Stack Project is a nonprofit that provides free services for underserved communities for financial counseling and just understanding finances. So that's why I know just a little bit, not much. So now it's there, but it's designed to be so confusing and have all this fine print, so that's usually what happens. But, to answer what you were saying, you want to pay more than the minimum because what happened to you was when you pay the minimum, you're not eating into the principal, or you're eating like a few dollars into the principal. So the principal,
Right.
So for those of you guys who understand what the principal is like the actual amount that you you purchase, right? So say you bought a Supreme shirt, it was $100. So it's $100, but then remember, you have an interest on it. So you pay 100 times whatever, 20%, 28% interest. And that's how it grows. But what most people do is they pay the minimum and you never eat into the principal. So that's why you was like, yo, I paid it. It's $400. Well, why is it not going down? Why is it not going lower? And that's typically what happens. So you always want to pay more than minimum. I don't care if it's $5. You want to pay the minimum. The problem is, here's the problem. If you're young and you don't have steady pay, then what do? Right? You don't have that. You're like, yo, I only got this much. You got to get books. You got to get to work. You got jobs. You got your Netflix. Now y'all got to get your Starbucks. Y'all got to eat out. I know So you're like, well, I don't have it. So that's why I tell people, yeah, you need credit, but you really got to understand it before you get a credit card. Because me, like I said, we balled out. While people was like, yo, I want to get a motorcycle. I was like, yo, y'all hit me off. I got the motorcycle and they gave me cash.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, yo, let me get cash. So, we
Right.
around the way, we know how to move it. So then I was like, damn, I got to pay this. And my bill was crazy. Like, it was like 15K. It was crazy. So, and I'm talking about, I was young. I was 20.
Credit card horror stories.
In my 20s.
Nah, for real.
So that's why, I tell people you really got to think about it and just understand it. But that's what we're talking about today, how to understand credit so they don't jerk you.
Well, I feel like what people don't have the access to is like just what is credit in general. I feel like they don't understand. Like they're never like you don't have like money management as a class in high school or college. Like you just like you're literally just thrust into the world, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to figure out what insurance to get, what credit card to get, where do I get cashbacks? Then they bombard you with all these deals, and I'm there, and you know what it is? They incentivize you to do all these things. Like when I was 18, I had freaking Discover mail me. They were like, "Oh, you're approved for a credit, like our student credit card." And I'm like, oh, "Okay, like cool. I want it." And boom. 2 months, I spent $500, and I'm like, where am I paying this off of? Like, where, like, and I was like, ooh, I need a job.
What you call it? Credit or cry? What'd you call it? Credit or cry? Or
Swipe now, cry later. Right. Credit card tears.
So, well, to me, let me see. I want to say this correct. Politically correct. So to me, I just think that a lot of it's by design, but I just think that, like, to me, why would you not have financial literacy classes in school? Even though they're talking about it now, but it's like...
I do think it's by design. And also I feel like, because schools are meant to churn out, like, obedient workers. I will say that. And I feel like, because a lot of the times you're just taught to do the work.
True.
You're not, right. You're not taught, like, actually how to, like, manage things on your own like time. And the biggest scam is that you're just thrust on the world, and the only like resources you have are the things that your parents teach you. So if they don't have a big scope of like what they're really doing, then you wouldn't either. And it's on you. Like it literally puts the burden on that person itself to now go out and figure everything out. Money, car, house, job, like 401k, even that, like they're like, oh, you should make a 401k. Okay, what? Like, can you, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what does it even stand for? What is 401? What is 401k? Like, okay, like, where's the K? Where's the K? Like 401k, get out of here. Like, what is the And they're like, Roth IRA, they're going to match. And I'm like, I don't, like, who is Roth?
Who's Roth? Yeah, I mean, to me, that's like you hit it on the nail. You really don't get guidance. I mean, that's why we developed Qudrop. Our app. We developed it so that way young people can have guidance. Because to me, it's not just financial literacy. It's actually the guidance and the advice to be like, here's the information. What do you do with that information? Because financial literacy is the information, but how to use that information, to me, that's what's not happening, right? Because you can say it with the budget and you're like, great. Or you should invest in a 401k as a young person, but you're like, well, what is 401k? What is it paid for? Mm-hmm. So if you don't know that it matches and the employer-based sponsored, or if you're a nonprofit, it's a 403B, or if you're a hospital, it's a 403B, because then it starts to be like, oh, it's just a bunch of acronyms, a bunch of letters. And you need to know, like, I know, but you need to understand it. So yeah, I agree. It's by design. And I also think that what a lot of people don't understand too, which I try to make sure young people understand, is financial literacy and money management, two different things. Financial literacy is like, oh, I understand what a budgeting is. It's cellular. Money management is what do I do with this money?
Putting it into practice.
And putting it into practice.
And let me tell you, like, doing that without having an example of a person having it done before you is so hard.
It's hard.
Because I'm having to teach myself all these things, like, okay, like, even like whenever I get whatever income I do get, like how to divide that into, like, I need to put an emergency saving fund. An emergency fund. I need to, like, whatever money I have left over, I need to put it into a high yield savings account. Like, I had to go do all the research. And also, okay, I remember, like, watching this one episode, and I was, like, talking about the choice paradox. And basically, like, when you, like, like you said, like, when you have all these, like, Roth IRA, 401k, and it's like you're bombarded with so many things, you don't make a choice. Even when you could, and instead of making one, like, maybe you get Roth IRA for like 4% or whatever, and instead of doing that, you're just like, oh, I don't understand it, so I won't do it, and you don't see anybody else do it, and you're just like, okay, like, you know what, I don't know what to do with it, and so.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a family member who understands finances or did finances,
right,
it's very hard. That's why when I watch this YouTube channel, I think they're all well intended, but I'm just like, as a young person, if you don't understand the concept of how to do this, like literally being like, how do you open up a brokerage account? So I used to be making more for it. Great, I want to invest. How do you open a brokerage account? When I get a brokerage account, what am I picking an index fund, a mutual fund? All this stuff starts Greek. And I just think that a lot of people are understanding that you need to have the money management skills, and that needs to be, guidance. That's why with Qudrop, we have advisors. So we have the platform, but also we have advisors from entertainment to healthcare to health and wellness to stocks to buying cars, who then assist you to be like, oh, this is what, and you could just like literally be like, I don't know anything. Okay, let me guide you on this one transaction. Let me guide you on the second transaction. Once you do the transactions, then you'll get confidence and you'll understand it. I just think that a lot of programs are just not doing it. So I think you're right and exact. I just think a lot of people are not doing it. And I think they're well-meaning. But I just think that they're not understanding that you need to have the money management skills. And I also think too, and this is like a pet peeve of mine, they start from a vantage point where you have money, or you already have credit, or you have a trust fund.
Yeah.
Because like I was watching a video thing, I'm not gonna say the guy, but he's cool. He was dope. I loved him. But he was like, you got to take advantage of, the stock market and all the craziness with Trump. So you want to make sure this year you put at least, 15K. And I'm just going, the average person can't pay paycheck to paycheck.
Literally.
Yeah. So where's 15,000?
Where do you start from?
Where's 15,000 coming from? So I always feel that a lot of these financial people are living in a bubble and they're not really understanding the real problem with people. And that's why I focus on everybody, but my focus is really on young people, because I was like, I want you to understand the things you need to do to make sure you don't get these pitfalls. But if you start and say you have 15,000 and the average person doesn't, then how will you help this person? How are you going to help this person? So I just think that's a pet peeve of mine. I just,
I definitely agree, because I don't even have 15K in my savings.
Right.
Like
you're not supposed to have that.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, like, there's like, I feel like also that, like, the distribution of wealth, because I feel like you need wealth to build wealth, and the fact that you're not really taught wealth just keeps you in that cycle of just like paycheck to paycheck.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only do you not have guidance, there's also no practice. And when even if you do, like, let's say you do hit the lottery, like I was watching this one episode, there were so many people that were like, I don't know what to do with it, because of like the way like their spending habits. Because you can have 100K and have a better chance at making it to $1 million than somebody who has like 800K but spends like all of their paycheck.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I feel like with credit, like, one thing that I've realized is you can definitely use it in better ways. Like I've had my trauma with credit where it's like I've definitely like spent it and I'm like, okay, like I need to pay it back, and I paid it back and I was like, I'm not doing that again. And no, not recently, no, literally like I paid my rent amount and I was like, there's no way. And it went over the credit limit. I was like, no. And one of my adulting moments was like when I had like a credit score like 728, and I remember because I opened my app and I was like, oh my God, 728, okay, period.
That's good.
Right. But I realized like you're not supposed to use like your whole credit limit. You're supposed to use a part of it. And there's like so many little things that like the financial people do that we don't know. Like I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to use all of mine and I should pay it all off by every month.
You want to be under 30% credit.
Right.
And the term is credit utilization. So you want to spend, so if it's $100 at the end of the month, you want to make sure it's nothing over $30.
If your credit is 100.
You want, right. You want to pay off at least 70% and keep it under 30.
Well, okay, so let's start there. So if you get a credit card, then whatever your limit is, you pick out 30% of that. And then that could be your monthly spending.
You can spend all of it.
Right.
But by the end of the month, you want to make sure you pay all that down and make sure you stay under 30%. The less the better. Because that's part of the algorithm that raises your credit score.
Right, because you're going to get charged interest on whatever you have left.
Now, if you get a 0 APR card, so do you guys understand?
What is APR?
Annual percentage rate? Right. I had to do my research, trust. What is APR, right?
So
another acronym.
APR is basically like interest rate. So you have the interest rate, say it's, right now, typical credit card is like 28%, which is like loan sharking. But,
literally.
But what they do is when you have good credit, they'll give you a promotion period for 0 APR. So what smart money people do, like me, here's the hustle. So you get a credit card, and I know the credit card company's gonna be saying, you're telling the secret. You get a credit card, it's 0%. That whole 12 months, sometimes it's 12, 18 months. You got 0%. You could use the card as much as you want. You have no interest. For 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, you have no interest.
But after that shit hits the fan.
What they do.
What?
They go apply for another card and they do a balance transfer for another 0%. Do you understand it now?
Oh.
Right. So typically business owners would do, like the small business that started.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you could do that. Right.
0%. They use it start the business by, Etsy, Shopify, whatever. And they use it for 12 months. It's about to expire. The 11th month, they go apply for another credit card with 0% for another 12, 15 months. And they do a balance transfer. And the balance transfer is typically 3% of the total amount.
Right.
So whatever, it's 5,000, 3%, whatever. What is that? $450, whatever. You pay that, and now you got another 12 months of no interest.
That's beautiful.
So the other thing is that they're not teaching. That's what we're saying. Like they'll teach who you have a credit card and spend it wisely. They're not teaching
how to actually spend. Right.
Because that's a different income level that understands that. There's a different income level that understands that. So when I started making money and would be with different people and different accountants, then it's like, oh, that's what you do? I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I've done it before. You go 3 years. People who've gone like 5 years. Zero.
So you can do it for your personal account and for like small business accounts and stuff?
Well,
or just like...
Well, you could do it on any credit card. As long as you have the promo. So if it's 0 APR promo, you just do it. Now, disclaimer, I'm not telling you to go. I'm not telling you to go into debt, but I'm saying that's what smart money people do. Who, if they're trying to do a business or they're being strapped. I mean, say you run out of. I know other hustles. You hear people like they lost their job or they got tired of it and they're living off their credit card. A lot of times that's what they do. If they're smart, they live on credit card. That pays their rent. That pays this. That pays their cell phone bill. That car note, and then they do 12 months and they get it then. Now, the only caveat is if you're over that 30% credit limit, right? Eventually your score is going to go down. So then you will most likely not get approved for the next card. But honestly, that might take a year. That might take a year and a half.
Real.
So you Gucci for a year. You like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You good money for a year and 6 months. So you like, whatever. You like, whatever. So, I just think that, I don't think it's about doing tricks, but I do think it's about
I think it's
young
about,
people,
right, like how to navigate the financial
how to
system.
navigate the financial system.
Because, yeah. And also, okay, let's talk about what people use that credit card for. Because I feel like a lot of the times what ends up happening is that because young people don't know where to spend their money or what to actually like allocate their money towards, what ends up happening is, like you want to look good. You go on social media. You buy a pair of Miris,
For y'all
like,
Sephora out.
wait, what you say? Wait, what?
Sephora out.
I don't Sephora out. I literally ask her. Before I got here, I used my freaking lipstick and I put my blush on. I was like, yeah, I need to look like a human today.
Okay.
Like I'm so serious. That's what listen, I learned my lesson with credit cards. In this economy right now, I'm not buying anything I don't need to. Trust. Trust.
Okay, so let me ask Ariana, can you name 5? Could you go with money though? Can you name 5 that you regretted buying with your credit card? Because I know I got one story with.
I'm mad frugal. I regret every single purchase with my credit. Every single one. It could be like $1 bag of chips. I'm like, why'd I buy that $1? Why?
Because you deserve it. I feel like it's definitely like important to make a distinction between like, you do deserve to treat yourself a little, but you can do like $7 coffees every single day. I feel like that's just like,
That's your young culture. Y'all be like, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I don't understand though.
But wait, what you mean? Oh shit.
Then you deserve it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Because I'm like, what are you doing?
That's daddy's mom.
Back in the day, you was supposed to work, and then you get to a certain point,
right.
and then you like, let me treat myself. Like when I first got into the record business, I used to wear. I met my homegirl Monica. Shout out to Monica. She was like, Phil, you could afford a new belt, like stingy belts. I just went to work, like whatever. But then once I became an executive, I ran a company. Then my good friend, she was like a sister of mine, Marsha Morgan. She literally was like, okay, we're going shopping, and you're gonna get nice clothes. Because you're an executive now, you run a company, and you're not walking around like that. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
Period. Yeah.
We bought stuff. She got me nice things. I'll pay for it. And she's like,
okay.
She styled me, and I was like, okay, I got it. So, but that was after years of like really working hard to get the position to, run my first record company. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just feel like you work hard. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm pro youth. I just feel like you deserve it. I'm just like...
It's like there are some things that you do deserve, but when it's like in excess, then you're literally doing too much.
Because it can become a daily thing.
Right.
And you're like, oh, you deserve that coffee. And then it's like the next day.
A cup of coffee is like $8 now. It's like, why? Why?
Hey, Josh, something that was at the store the other day, and I was like, how much it cost? It was something that I was like, I can't remember, but I was like...
I was trying to DoorDash Chipotle the other day, and it was like, okay, $12 for the bowl, but the
$30.
No.
Yeah, like an extra like $15 for delivering.
I'm so serious. Service free.
No, but you have to get the discount codes.
The discount codes.
Come on.
So how like DoorDash has that like, buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's talk about Credit Karma. Oh my God. No, not Credit Karma.
Karma.
Klarna. Yes, Klarna. Oh my God.
Thing now, right? You could do
for foods or something, right? That's insane.
It's a necessity. For like with DoorDash, where if you can't pay for it,
they started
increments.
picking some food.
Really?
And that's how they're making a lot of money.
But I feel like that's how they get them in the trap, because like Klarna is gonna keep like bugging you, and then now you can't pay for it anymore. And oh my God, I feel like the buy now cry later is so like serious for real, because it's like you buy it and you don't like understand the consequence of it till like later. And now like shit hits the fan, and you're like, oh my God, where do I get it from?
Yeah, I mean, what I found with young people, what they do is they do the buy now, pay later, and I'm like, don't do it. Because here's what happens.
Don't do it.
You're young, right? And you're running, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got school, you got jobs, you're going to parties, you're hanging out, you're just running, right? Which is fair, right? The problem is you miss a payment. And once you miss a payment, and I don't know the numbers, but I know the interest rate is crazy. So that little $12 pizza is like a $30 pizza now.
Yep.
Or even more. So what I tell people is like, you want to stay away from that because I know people who did after-paying corner for vacation. There's like, oh, I did it. And I was like, why? They took a vacation, but they didn't have the money. So they're like, oh, I split it up in payments with.
Oh,
I was like, no, don't go on vacation.
I think that's the kind of
Don't go
you
on
deserve
vacation.
it that we don't need. You know, like
Right.
like
Don't go on
you
vacation.
like don't you can't deserve something that you can't afford.
Yeah.
Let me just put that out there, like because literally like what you do deserve is to be free of that worry of just like having to pay for it. Because now you're scrambling. Now you don't know where you're gonna get the money from, and yeah, no, I feel like. Okay, wait, I have a question. So what are your like 5 purchases? Like with credit card?
the thing
That
is,
you would, like-
the only thing I put on my credit card is like gas.
Oh.
She's smart.
Like,
She's smart with it. Okay, period. Yeah.
I use my debit card for everything because I'm scared, like, to over.
Well, let's talk about these. Talk about like
So why
right.
why are you scared?
I don't trust myself. Like,
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. I'll pay rent. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I just paid 3 months of rent yesterday, which was
A lot of money.
beastie. But I was just like, I had to take money from my savings to pay it. And so now I don't really spend money unless I have to. So I'll spend it on food, gas.
Okay,
rent.
so you're
But,
sensible.
and then I just got health insurance for my job. So
Good for you.
like, but the thing is, I don't get paid enough
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I would feel comfortable using credit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair.
And that's what I was saying. I was like,
Like no stable job.
you know, like, yeah, you want credit, but you are making a smart decision by saying, I don't feel that I'm stable enough. At this point, it might be 3 months you're stable, but at this point, not stable to use it. Because like you're saying, and here's the other thing. If you miss one payment, it stays on your credit board for 7 years. So I have people who missed the payment was $20. $20.
But it's one missed payment.
It's one missed payment,
Yep.
and the credit cards don't pay. And then you're trying to get an apartment, and now your score is bad, and it's like, oh, you missed payment. The landlord's not going to look and be like, oh, it was only $20. He's going to say, oh, you have a missed payment, and your score is this. What are you going to say to him? Yo, it was only $20. It was like, well, if you can't pay $20, then how are you going to pay this $1,000? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I try to get people to understand. And then I'm going to blow your minds even crazy. I've been really thinking of this concept of like, yo, fuck credit. Like what I mean by that is like, they got everybody in this hustle. And here's the hustle. Because people come to me all the time, especially young people. Yo, I got to get that credit score. I want 800. It's the flex. 720. It's a flex. Why? Why do you need 800? Why do you need 720? Like, can you guys tell me why would you want 720 credit score?
I mean, I was gonna say that like it is a struggle to even like think about having credit because like even if you don't have a credit card, there's so much pressure to have credit. So in the future, you could get that car loan, you could get a house mortgage, you can get a loan for a business, but it literally takes years to even build up to a good credit score because. Like, for example, Chase, with my credit card, it's like, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good. Oh, you only had your credit card for like 2 years?
Yes.
Bad. Well, what am I supposed to do? I need to wait till I'm 35 to have a decent credit score. So I feel like, at this point, it feels like the banks are against you and not with you. Because if they were with you, why would you have a minimum? Why would, you have a limit? Why? It's just all these things that end up hurting you in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's how they make money.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that. So I think you should have credit, right? But what I'm saying is, I don't think you should stress over having credit if you don't have the money. So like, you're making a smart decision, but I could give you like I could give you for every one of you, there's like 1,000 kids who are like I was. Yeah. What y'all need? Which car you want? Which car you want?
Which color you want? What flavor you want?
Like, what's good? Chicks want drinks. Yo, what's up? We got it. But people,
And just put it on the card.
Put it on the card.
Put it on the card.
And so for me, I try to tell people that the reason why you need credit, right? Loan, try to get a car, try to get a mortgage. Those are like 3 big reasons. There's other reasons, but those are 3. So if you're 20 and you're saying, oh, I'm not getting a car, I'm being a mortgage when you're 30, then why are you stressing at 18, 19, 20? Get your income up, get your stuff together, and then start applying. But what I find is young people be like, yo, I'm trying to get that 800 credit score. And I'm like, I've never had an 800 credit score. Now, my credit's good. My grade is good. 786, but I don't care. Like, the flex to say I got 800, like, who am I flexing
It's
to?
getting more
800?
expensive, and a lot of us feel like, oh, we may never own a house. It's even hard to get a car. So
Well,
there's that
yeah.
pressure.
Yeah,
Like, what would you suggest? Like, what a good like point in your life to be to like have credit? Also, like, question. So let's say I have a credit card, right? Because I do have one, and I spend like very minimum on it, like as much as I can. What if like I just leave it unused? That's gonna affect my credit in a bad way, though, right? Or no?
No.
So I can just leave it open.
No.
Oh, okay. No, see, because we don't know. Like, we're literally not taught stuff like
Here's
this.
what
Right.
happens. You have a credit,
Right.
right? And what happens is periodically, like if you check your inquiry statements, you'll see that sometimes periodically you'll have a Discover card and you see Discover checks. They'll periodically check your credit. I don't know how often, but you'll see like they'll check at least annually to make sure that you're still at 720, whatever your score is. The other thing is if you don't use your card, they can close it for inactivity. And that hurts your score because if you want a credit card, you want to close it.
You can't
so
win.
It closed by, I'm forgetting. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? But if it's through the company, it says closed by a grantor or credit grantor. You don't want them. You want closed by consumer, which is you. That doesn't hurt your credit score. It does hurt your credit score.
What's to say?
No, it doesn't hurt your credit score. It initially hurts your credit score because of the credit limit. So say you have 3 cards and the cards are $3,000, $1,000, $1,000. That's $5,000. Remember the 30%? So now if your credit, right? So if your credit is $5,000 and you max those other cards and then you got closed out one, now the creditization gets even worse because remember, you got rid of the 3,000. So like, damn, you only got 2,000 and the 2,000 is all to the limit. So that's why you want to.
No, I'm confused.
Okay.
I'm so confused. Right.
So you have 3 credit cards, right?
Let's just say I have one credit card.
Yeah, but
Let's simplify. I'm sorry.
I am
Like,
not having
you're talking
3.
against people right now. Like, this is your target audience. Let's simplify it, right?
Right. Yeah, 2.
So you got 2. One's 1,000, one's 1,000.
We can go with that.
That's $2,000. Part of your FICO score. The FICO score, you get a credit score. But the
FICO, FICO, right?
Is it's a reporting agency that does the score. So most lenders do the FICO score. Now Fannie Mae did something new. They're going to use the Vantage score, but I want to get into that. Credit Karma does the Vantage score. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, I
So
don't even know.
it's $2,000. So part of the FICO score is your credit utilization. How much credit you got. So remember, you had $2,000, but now you close the card. Now you only have $1,000. But remember, you maxed that card.
Right.
When it was at $2,000, you maxed one card. It's not that bad because remember, you got one that's free, $1,000 or $800. But once you get rid of that $1,000,
Right.
now you only got the other one is maxed. So now your creditization is like 90, 80%, and that lowers.
Oh, because essentially,
was 30%. Remember?
right? Because essentially, what's gonna happen is you're gonna like take a variable out of the equation.
Yes.
So like your denominator is
There
gonna
you go.
decrease by 1.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what screws you. So you don't want to. So to recap, you don't want to close the card. Right, you want to keep it open, especially if it's your longest card. That's the other trick. So
Right.
say
Because you need
3 cards,
time.
and remember, you're trying to build credit. So if the one card was opened in 2024, 23, the other card was open 24 and one at 25. The 23 you don't want to close because that's the longest. So part of the FICO score is also the length of history of your credit card. So the one at 23 you don't want to close until you like really build your credit. You don't even want to close that. So I have now it comes off your report on my little lazy 10 years, right? 7, is it 10 or 7? Oh, 7. So it comes off your report, right? But so when I was building credit, I had stuff that was on there for like 5 years, 6 years. So they're like, oh, you had credit for 4 or 5 years. And that's how I was able to grow other credit. And I was able to max. I mean, I had cars, with credit limits like really high credit limits, but also had a business. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to just blindly close the card. There's factors. You have to find out, is this my longest credit card? What's my other payment? What other balances on my other cards? And once you do that, you can make decisions. But as a general rule, most people don't recommend doing that. The only thing you have to do, the card that you said, if I don't hold it, is what you want to do is you want to use it for like one purchase, like the smart girl here,
Yes,
Christina.
right. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it. So so the credit card company sees activity.
So we're still utilizing it,
So
but
it's still
under
utilized.
like
Another
the
just pay it
cap,
over.
right?
Or just go to the dollar store, buy some for $1, and that's it. So if you're scared, they'd be like, oh, I can't pay this back. Go to the dollar store, buy one thing, and that's that. That's if you want to keep it open. But as you're building credit, as a general, you want to keep those cards open. Right? You want to keep it because remember, you're young, you're still building. What's it going to be? Like she said, 2 years. So you really want to build it. And the oldest card that you have, you keep it and you build it. Now, once you got to a point that you know, like, I'm getting a bunch of offers, and which is like 4 or 5 years, then you could close. I was still waiting, but then if you like, I want to get rid of it, you get rid of it.
So how would you suggest, like, what would you suggest for like young people, like not to get a credit card till like they have a stable income? Like, that was my initial like question. Like, at what standpoint of like
That's a yes.
till they have like a stable job?
I think that
Because you know what I also do? Like, I feel like what did help, because now I have credit history for like 2 years. And I feel like now that I've been
good.
through the pitfalls, right? It's like there's length, but now I know what not to do. And I feel like even though I don't have like a stable job, like to like a 9 to 5, because I'm in college right now, I can still like, if I make a $37 per purchase and like my limit is like 500, like that's okay, like that's manageable for me, and I can pay that off. And I feel like that's building history. But I don't want to put myself in a situation where I have $1,000 like that's my limit, because I know like how easy it is to max it out. So I feel like there's definitely like, I feel like it does help starting young, but me personally, I'm gonna wait till I have a stable job to get a credit card that's like over 1,000 or like 1,500. Like,
what if it's 5,000 or 10,000?
I mean, maybe leave it all down. Like, how do we like? Also, like, how do we like build like branch out into like higher credit?
By having good credit history, and it's also based on your income. So once you start making money,
Yeah,
you know,
and they're just gonna send you offers.
crazy limits.
Oh,
And we like
okay, my fault. My fault.
we walk through the dealership like we good.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, yeah, but I have businesses and I also have good credit. You know, but I also know what it's like to not have good credit because I told you what we did.
Right.
So your first question was what my recommendation for young people. I think that it's twofold. I think that if you have the discipline, so you guys have the discipline, but I know people who don't have the discipline. So if you feel personally you have the discipline, then you should be good. But if you don't have the discipline, then until you have a stable job and you have that job for more than 3 months. A stable job is not 4 weeks. A stable job is 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, the same job. You see what your pay is, then I think it's okay to get a credit card. Because let's be honest, if you're young, you're going to use that credit card to cover certain expenses while you're building your career or doing what you got to. You got to spend it going to Coachella. You got to spend it going out with your friends.
Coachella. Right. That was so random. That was like Bernie Sanders being at Coachella. That Coachella, he was like, we need the young people to fight for us. And I was like, you got it, Bernie. I'm going to fight for you.
The spending is crazy. So you got to really understand, you got to do that. But if you don't have the discipline, then I think that, but then it's a catch-22 because I do believe that you need to build credit, right? Because if you're 25, you might want to start a business and you have no credit, it's going to be hard for you to get
exactly.
loan. So it's really a catch-22. So that's why we call it personal finance, because it's personal. So you really have to really decide what type of person you are and what type of person you're trying to be, and really get that guidance. Again, shout out to Qudrop, and really get that guidance to understand what type of person, because it's like anything else, like career. You have to understand what type of person. So when you're investing stocks, not only on a tangent, they say, what's your risk tolerance, right?
Right.
Is your risk tolerance, you scared you lose money, or you're like, let it ride. So it's the same thing with investing. It's the same thing with credit. It's the same thing with money. You have to first find out, and they're definitely not teaching that. You first have to find out what's your risk tolerance, what type of person. You guys seem your discipline. And then my girl here, she's like she's like me. That's why I fuck with her. She's like me. She could go in the store. I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. You know, I can go to the store, I go shop, I go to Soho, I'm not in the city, I'm walking into whatever. I'm walking in every store. I'm going to Keith, you know, I'm going to Gucci, I'm walking to my homegirls, and well, let's go. I'm not buying it. I don't like it doesn't, but I know people can't go to stores and they cannot believe how buying something. I was like, yo, it's 3 minutes.
Well,
What are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
What are you doing? I was like, it's a little book. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So you know, so getting back to the question, it really depends on the type of person you are. So I would recommend having it, but if you don't have a stable job and you don't think you have a discipline and you think you're going to use it crazy, then don't get it. It don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense.
Because you're just stabbing your own self in the back.
You're stabbing yourself for your future self.
Right.
That's what I try to. You know how many clients I sit with and I'm cleaning up their credit and they got, yo, a $30, like it's $39. And it was 3 years ago. And I was like, yo, that's $39 payment is affecting you for 7 years. We can try to fight it. We can try to do it, but it's still the energy it takes to remove that $39 is like, it's
Like, just
hours.
make the payment.
So I tell people, but remember, they didn't know. And I was like, yo, it's 30. Yo, your score screwed up 100 points for 39.
Don't buy what you like, what your debit can't.
I be telling people, yo, I don't know what to tell you. Work. You better walk the streets. You better hold the cup. Like, find that $39. If you like, find it because it's 7 years.
Right.
They got 6 years to sue. With New York changed it. Used to be 6 years they got to sue you, and 7 years comes off your credit report. 6 years they can sue. Now they ain't gonna sue you for $39, but you know, for 6 years you're like, yo, am I gonna get sued? Da-da-da. You know, and I know people like that. I understand that position too. That's how I got in the game. But hope that answers it a little bit.
Yeah. I also feel like there's definitely like a comfort aspect to like when what people spend on, because I feel like there are a lot of people that just, I myself, like I've definitely like impulse bought things before, and I feel like I was actually talking about this to somebody, and I was like, it's uncomfortable to have money now because I spent so long without money, and now just like I just want to spend it all, and I had to realize like, no, that's not, like, you literally have to teach yourself a new way of like living and like thinking literally, and just like managing your life, and just to like actually like have it work. And I feel like I definitely agree, because I feel like me personally, like I know in the long run, like I want to use debt to my advantage to like build a lot of things. So that's why I was like my credit isn't the best right now, but at least like I have a good history, and I'm keeping it open so that history builds on itself.
Yeah, but they'll fix.
Yeah, but also like for somebody who's just like, who knows they like to spend a lot, and they like you know, maybe a couple of years down, like they want a house, but they want a stable job, and that like they want the, like, you know, the regular 401k life, I guess. But I'm saying like the 9 to 5, and I'm like, that's okay too. But I feel like in that scenario, it's better to open like a credit card after like you have that stable job, because you can actually now put that to use for like, okay, like, you know what, maybe like I'll put like my gas or water on it, like the utility bill, or like the mortgage payment, because you know, like you'll have like, not mortgage, I don't know why I said mortgage, but like, yeah, like, and then
eventually get a mortgage payment. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I get that word.
I think that you know, the key factor, listening to you, what you're saying is the key factor is discipline. If you think you're disciplined enough, but here's the thing too. I think it's smart for a young person to get it early, screw it up, and then kind of understand it too. Like, you don't want to screw it up, but I'm okay with, because 7 years to 20 is 27. You know, most likely you're not gonna buy a house at 27.
But also, like, I'd rather screw up at like with 500 and got like 18 than like with like 5K at like 25, and now I'm like, oh shit, like I can't pull this out my ass.
I mean, I represent clients that make $250 a year and they're still a little paycheck to paycheck. It's so, I tell people, people think, and that's the other thing, people think, oh, the money. I have clients that make $250,000 a year and they're still paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Like,
So,
you can live better with 100K with better discipline than like with 800K, but you're spending your whole paycheck. And I feel like that's like a big pitfall, like that happens too. Like, when you don't come from wealth, and you're like the household that you've been in is paycheck to paycheck. When you grow up, I feel like you also mirror that financial mentality, because that's that's all you know. Like that's all you know, and also literally that's all you know. So, and you, not only is there no guidance, now you have to like make that trial and error, but it's like you don't really need to make that error. You just you need an advisor. I feel like
That's why that's what I said. That's why I said with Qudrop, we understood it's financial literacy, but we also understood that people come from different backgrounds, and if you don't know it, you really need somebody to guide you along and be like, yo, this is what you do. Because there's so many variables, I mean, we all grew up differently, so there's so many variables.
And literally, like, recently my mom gave me a car, right? And even like then she purchased and then but even when she was like getting a car, like we went to shout out to mom, love mommy. But even when she was buying, like, we went to the dealership and they were just like throwing all these things at us, and it's like there's nobody really there to like just be like, okay, like this is what you want to do, let me show you all the different ways you can actually do it
at a dealership.
Especially a dealership, because they're gonna try to like upcharge so much. And then I've seen so many, like, this is why, like, before getting a car, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I was like, okay, like literally they were like, okay, don't do this. Yes, so many people, they were like, okay, well, when I went to a dealership, like, I bought a new car and I realized like it literally lost 50% of its market value right when it walked out the door. Like when you drove
30, what is it, Gabe? Like 33%, right? Shout out to Gabe, producer, podcast.
What's up, Gabe?
It's like 33%, right?
What?
Right. When you as soon as you leave the dealership.
Oh, depreciation.
Yeah, depreciation. I think it's
like at least like minimum 30%. Right.
Jeez.
Susie, you have a bone?
Bring it back the next day.
It was the brand.
Bring it back the next day.
Okay, so you got away with it, and you don't.
I'm looking.
Okay, so you're looking. So you can
I'm doing my research.
No, do your research, girl. I'm telling you. Yes. Because insurance is a lot too. That's another thing. Oh my God. Under 25 and under 21. Oh my God.
Yeah,
there's literally no way to help.
You can't do nothing about that. I can't help you with that. To me, it's insurance. It is what it is. Because you're young. Y'all be crashing, drinking, driving, driving to Coachella.
Coachella in California.
Right. Coachella. Right. Well, do you want to go to Coachella? Like,
I think I wants to. No.
Right.
And then I'm good.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't ask, like, we were starting about the purchases. So you said
the purchase on the card, right?
You never did 5 bad. Did you say yours?
I just said I only pay for gas.
So you guys do good purchases.
I made like 5 kind of big purchases, but I still never go over my 30%.
Okay.
It's like rent.
I've had like,
bill.
oh wow, I love that for you. You're good.
Good.
No, me personally, like, listen, like, I like something, I want it, I got it, and if I can, like, I'll get it. Why not?
Swipe now.
Swipe now, cry later. And I realized, like, when I shut the tears later, and I was like, oh shit, like, ooh, I didn't even realize I had to cry later. I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I want it. Like, like, maybe actually, I think one of my first purchases on my card was a pair of shoes, actually, a pair of Nikes that I wanted for mad long, and I was like, oh, like, I can get it now, and I got it, and I was like, you know what, I deserve it. And I think that's the kind of I deserve it mentality you were talking about, because but also now I realize, because if I spend like all day working, like, we're gonna go after this and just bake some biscuits, and like, I deserve that. I'm done. Look, I'm tired, and I have to turn in my work, but I'm gonna,
I'll bake biscuits.
Yeah. Red Lobster, Bay biscuits.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So,
About that life,
not even. It's like you need to do the little things for you to like keep it together. And what I've realized is that money does unlock the doors to happiness, because it literally unlocks opportunities. That's what it is. People are like, money can't buy happiness, but okay. I feel like
telling the person who had no money.
Right. Send me $100K in my bank account. I'll be real happy. I'll be real happy. Just shit. Send it my way.
So we'll do an episode on that, because I know plenty of people who have a lot of money and they're like pilled out. They're just not happy. They're not happy.
Because I feel like, you know what it is? This is why I'm so grateful. Like, I feel like I'm at this point in my life right now where I can be grateful for not coming from the best of like situations, because now I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do with my life. Not even thankful, like, I feel a purpose and meaning in my own existence. Because I feel like what happens a lot of the times that you can have a lot of money, but if you don't have that touch with yourself, that inner like, okay, like, this is what I truly want to do. Like, this is where I gain my sense of
Right.
purpose from. You're essentially gonna be lost. It doesn't matter how much time, like money you have, because at the end of the day, like a man on his deathbed wants nothing more than health. And
Health
like
is the new
literally,
wealth.
health is wealth. So I feel like what truly needs to be the focus is how we can use money to build long-term wealth and healthy relationships with money in a way where it's like we're using it not for the things that we just want and like, oh my God, I got a pair of Nikes and I feel better about myself. But why did I feel bad enough for me to go make that purchase in the first place? You know,
Absolutely.
like why is impulse spending a coping mechanism and why don't I know better from it? Why do I have to learn by making the mistake? Why do I have to learn by shedding tears from those experiences? You know?
I call it emotional spending.
Yes, and my mom does it so much. She was literally in like,
Women too, but guys are different. Guys are about like a Ferrari or some other thing.
imagine the Benz your boyfriend got is in debt.
It's the same thing. So you really gotta, like, I would say as a young person, you really gotta just figure out who you are, what you want to do, and then just understand your triggers, right? And understand if this is what you need and this is what you are, then you gotta figure out that. And but be honest with yourself, you don't need 20 of the same sneakers because here's what I can tell y'all. When you have financial freedom or you got money in the bank,
You don't really care about all of that.
the whole like you just move your whole your steps, the way you move through the day, you
Right.
just feel different. I've been at jobs, they talk a little greasy. I was like, I can go home.
Right.
Like I've told people,
I can
yeah,
walk
I'm gonna go
away.
home.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going. Yeah, I got a son to take care of. I got some.
I got shit to do.
Yard to do. I got things to do.
Right,
I
right.
got maybe like what?
I like saying that. I got things to do, right?
And that's like you talk. If you listen to anybody on YouTube who talks that, it's a totally different vibe to be able to be like, I got money in the bank, whatever. Y'all don't like. I can go home. I don't need your check. I'm here because I like the job, but I don't need your check. So that's the whole thing. So I try to tell young people, money's for options. Money's not just to buy things. Money's for options. And options is, I want to wake up and go to Europe tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's when you have money, you could do that. And then it's life's all about experiences, which is different than, I bought that t-shirt.
Right.
Because that lasts for
That-
a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus you went to, I don't know, you
An
went to Thailand,
experience, right.
You're going to be talking about that for like
A
6
memory.
months or memories
Okay.
That's
for your whole life. So I try to tell people, money's for options, and to allow you to live differently than what it is. So that's why, circling back to credit, I just tell people, just really think about it before you
And
do.
what you're using it for.
You guys are rare. Like I usually don't have, 2 guests. And then, of course, Ariana's always good. That is like all 3. Because usually it'd be like, yo, let me tell you what happened.
I'm saying I maxed that shit out like 3 times, like 3 different
But
times.
yours wasn't that bad.
And then-
because it's 500.
Okay, but I made sure it wasn't gonna be that bad because I knew like with 500, even if I max it out, okay, like I can pull that shit out of my pocket. Like, I can figure it out.
Can y'all borrow? Okay, here's the other one. Can y'all borrow money from your parents?
I can't.
Like, if
I
you-
choose not.
Yes and no. I feel like I've definitely built a better relationship in that regards too. Because I used to be like, I
Like, if
want
you-
your money. I would be like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not gonna take one job from me. And then I realized I need to. I don't. Like that's literally my resource. Right.
If you're growing now, I'm saying growing now with the 500 stuff like that. What about you, Christina? Can you?
If it's offered,
No, I picked it off
with no
myself.
strings attached.
Right.
The thing is, it's always
What's the
held
string?
over my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Like when they're like, oh, I did this for you and I did that for you, and that's where my like hyper independent attitude came from. I was like, you know what, you don't have to do shit for me. I'm done. 18, I'm out, and I did move out. I took a gap year. I moved out. I was doing, and I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Why am I not taking help from the people who are literally supposed to help me? That's insane. And then she was like, da-da. And then I realized like even though like she can always like not come off as the best sometimes, she means well. Like there's a lot of love that gets lost in
Most parents
translation.
mean well.
Right. And I feel like a lot of the times they're also speaking from their own fears, which I realized you can't break generational curses if you're still seeking approval from the generation that's cursed. When I first saw that, I was like, whoa, I was like, you're right. Because
Yeah, I like
even unconsciously, we still want to make our parents proud. We still want to do things in a way that's like, that they're happy with. And what I've realized is that sometimes this is your first time living too, and it's just not going to work.
Not gonna work.
I told my mom, I was like, Ma, I feel like there's a certain difference in the way you deal with money because you have a very like middle class wealth mentality. I told that. I was like, you have a middle class money mentality where it's like you spend your money
And save.
and save, but also you're not really saving in an actual account. You're saving in the house in cash.
Right.
You're literally losing money as we speak. You know, that's like 101. But also it's like they're afraid. They have that fear of like, oh, what if it just all goes away? And even with like what?
Because a lot of times people went through, you know, your parents, if they're over at least 40.
Right, like their experiences with money.
08, 09, like the 08, 09 recession was no joke. People were losing like houses. People were like on the street. They had camp tenements. So a lot of people, and then you also hear stories of like people who were in World War II or Nazis who were occupied. They still keep. I had a client. Her father was German. He wouldn't let her get a bank account. He wouldn't let her get a bank account because it was in the bed. He had to keep it in the bed.
Right.
So, and I was like, had to literally convince the father for like 6 months to let her open an account. She was 18. I was like, she needs an account because if the house goes on fire or the apartment goes on fire, it's not insured. If you put your money in a bank, it's FDIC insured up to $250,000. So the bank could rob it, lose it, and your money is safe.
They will still have to pay you, yeah.
So judge your parents on a curve. Judge your parents on a curve.
I definitely realized that. Like, I was like, it's your first time living too. Like, I definitely had to cut my mom slack in a way where it's like, you're human and you can only teach me so much as you know. And I realized that it was on me. Like, I told her, I was like, Ma, a big part of why I study financial economics is because there was so much tussle with money growing up. I was like, okay, like this is something that's a scarce resource. Right. And then I had to train to think to myself that I'm not earning money. I'm literally like, I'm getting the money. I'm putting value out into the world, and I'm like receiving money in return. I'm not printing out more money. I'm not making money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm literally and I feel like, and like it's so backwards in so many cases where it's like with capitalism, they're buying your time. Which a lot of the times, which people, I see so many, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But people, what they do is they're like, oh, like I just want a job and I want to do this, But it's like, you have to realize in that job, essentially you're selling your time for money, not the value you bring. If you if you go to college, there will be some value tied to your salary and stuff like that, you know? But at the end of the day, like the difference between a worker and a CEO is vast.
Very different. The way I think versus different. But and we're about to wrap up, and maybe that's the next podcast. What I try to tell people is that it's because everybody's like wants to do companies now, and I think it's great. But not everybody should be an entrepreneur.
I agree.
Should be a CEO.
Yeah.
Like it's certain traits. Mm-hmm. Like I know people. Like I've been an entrepreneur since I was like probably came out the womb, right? And I didn't know it, and so people who were like ran companies are like, no, you're that. And I was like, what is that? And it's pre-Google. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I think that it is. So it's okay to be a 9-to-5 person. Again, it's back to knowing your lane.
Right. Knowing who you are. Like your risk, like, because I feel like that's a big thing too. Like, because people, like, discipline is a big factor because it's like,
that's why discipline. That's why I always go back to, not cutting you off, but that's why I always go back to discipline. Because if you do discipline, you're able to go, what do I want to do? How do I want to figure out my money? How do you want to use my money?
Right.
You could use your money to buy a bunch of keys, Fear of God, Supreme, or you could be like, oh, I'm going to use my money like my homegirl. She was like, oh, she put all her money into her music videos, into studio sessions.
Right.
And I was like,
and actually investing in herself.
And she's investing in herself. I was like, she's like, oh, my credit's a little off. I was like, yeah, but you're investing in yourself, and it's going to eventually turn back. Now she's getting paid for shows, and she's not even like signed. She's already getting paid for shows. So for me, I was like, that's super smart. So it goes back to that. All right,
I
so
think
let's-
it's also very important to like make the distinction between like investment and bills, because I feel like a lot of people make purchases and it's just expenses and bills versus like if you like, let's say you buy a laptop but you really need it and you're like, okay, that might like, you get a credit card to buy a laptop, but now you can work from home, now you can like, now you're applying jobs, now you're like opening up an avenue for yourself. I feel like
using it for
that's
good
like
things.
right, that's using your credit for like something to like actually, that's literally using your money, that's utilizing your money versus like, oh, you know what, I want a TV, I want to get this TV, and then you just spend $700 on a TV and it's just staying there, you're not doing anything with it, you know.
Right. That's
So
that money gives you options.
use money to buy options.
So to wrap up,
Where
what would you tell young people, Christina, about credit cards? Like one advice that you do that's good. So give them one thing that you do because you look like you make sense. Because I mean, the gas tip is really good. That's a small one.
no,
Just
literally,
me being
just like
frightened.
no, but I feel like it's so real though. Like it's a like small expense that you have. It's periodical, like it's, and you know you're gonna have to pay it off, and you just pay it off, and it's like it's gas. You're gonna end up
you
getting
say-
gas.
So you would say your tip would be use a small gas. You still have tip though.
Oh, my fault. No, I was trying to rephrase her. Hold on, wait. Right, hold on. I'm trying to help
You got
her.
another one.
No, I don't.
No.
If you
We're trying to figure it out.
like look into the credit cards that are offered, because I had a bunch of offers from Chase,
Yeah, that's a
and I applied, and then they're like, "Oh, your income's not high enough," and I was like,
Right. I was like, bitch, why you give me offers and reject me? Like, that don't make no sense.
"Just use it on."
It's like knocking on your door and being like, hey, like, and they're like,
So use it on small purchases.
Yeah,
And then-
'cause-
And then what's your tip?
definitely use it on small purchases. I would also say, like, my tip, I would say know your money habits and your money, like, mindset. Because if you don't know how you are with money, you're gonna end up like fulfilling that cycle and then learning from that mistake. So I feel like it's definitely very important to know the kind of person you are, to know what you're trying to do with whether it be credit or debit, or like literally like even when you're starting off, just if you know you're gonna make stupid purchases because you already do, don't get a credit card. But if you know you want to build a long history, you want to build a long thing, get a student credit card for $500. Maybe spend like, what's 30% of 500? Like 150. Like maybe spend like $100 like groceries or something, and then you pay it off. Boom.
Okay, so yours is the emotional aspect. If you don't feel you're good with money, don't get it. And if you think you're smart with money,
Right.
get it. What's yours?
I would say definitely like if you can afford it, pay off your credit card as much as you can on
that's a good one.
time, and always stay under 30%. Do research because it shows the banks that, oh, this person does have money. They're reliable. They're never late. They don't acquire, like a lot of interest. So it makes you look like a reliable customer.
Well, and which will then raise your credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you even raise your credit score, you'll learn smart money habits.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people whether you got $1,000, $5,000, or $1 million, if you don't know money habits, you're gonna lose it. It doesn't matter. All right, cool. This was a good session.
What's your final tip?
Me? I don't have any follow tip. So I don't speak no English.
Habla español. Right.
Dude, all where to find Qudrop and all that.
Hello, right. Do some live promo.
You gotta
So if you want some more tips or you want some financial guidance, you gotta hit up www.qudrop.com. We got a lot of information, and you can connect with a financial advisor. Very simple, $9.99 or $19.99, and they just sit for an hour and they can go over everything that you want.
Literally for like $10 or $20.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we keep it cheap because our whole thing is like it's for young people. So we don't make that. But, we have everything, different topics, whatever case. So check it out.
Check it out. Don't
For
load
me-
off. Check it out.
So for me, my tip is money gives you options and you really gotta understand money at 20, 22, 25, because when you get older, if you don't understand money, that's where you're in a trick bag. And you really want to get all the kinks out and all the mistakes and all the stuff. Now, you try not to make that many mistakes, but you are going to make mistakes. But you want to figure out now and then figure out the style you are, what type of person you are, what's your risk tolerance, and just be smart. Understand that you could go and spend 5 bottles at a club, but that same money you could put into an investment account and triple it over 10 years. So, I tell people retirement's the new side hustle. That's the new hustle. Because
Because compound, interest compound, right? It's not a joke.
it's not a joke.
Like I study math. Trust that exponential interest.
Yeah.
Once it hits, it hits.
So I tell people like, yo, you don't even got to become a millionaire. You just got to keep the steady roll and put it together.
You know what? Cry now, save now, celebrate later. For real.
Oh, you on a roll today?
Because even if anything, like I feel like I'm like even if you're young, like it's better to get like a $500 credit card and make those mistakes in
That's
that,
what I'm
like
saying.
instead of like how like because if like now I know all that, now I'm actively doing things to change my money habits
And
because I know like I've
And that's the
you
start.
know it's
That's
real.
the start. And then everybody who's watching this, they're good. And so if you're not on their level, it's okay. But understand the goal is to be able to continue to think about finances, to continue about how do I want to live my life, to continue like
Right.
how can I set myself for the future. That's really what you want to figure out. So with that, we're gonna end this episode. I want to thank our guest, Christina. Roll.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's me and Ariana signing off. Gabe, producer with the mostest. And it's the Stack Project podcast. Stack your bread, stack your knowledge. Peace.
Cook up a storm. I've been performing. Pushing recorders. She gave me more friends. Bands, I got it planned. Man, you can't stand.